All right. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another BeawCast. Today's episode is brought to you by ShipStation and Skillshare. So for all of you entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs, make sure to stay tuned to hear those because you're going to get hooked up fat.
I thought of a really good topic for today's episode.
Me too.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, but yours might be better than mine.
Let's go with yours. I'm not even going to bring mine up.
No, I want to hear it. Because then we can put it out into the universe and we can make another video next time.
Okay.
Of mine or yours, not assuming I'm going to do mine.
So mine comes from understanding our fan base.
Yep.
And so I don't know if you guys know, but most of our listeners and vlog watchers are in the 18 to 24 age range.
Yeah.
I believe like 70% is there. And
Yep.
then I think like the next 15% is actually 24 to 35.
Yep.
And because of that, I thought it'd be really cool to talk about things we wished we would have done in college.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and kind of go back and starting even with like maybe even the end of senior year, how we could have set ourselves up in high school a little bit for college and then going into community college and transferring. That's what I thought, because I wished I had like a big brother or older sister that would help me with all that, but no one did. So I just figured it out myself. And now I look back and I'm like, I would have done things way differently. What did you want to talk about?
So mine is going to just hit on what we literally just did today. Yeah. So mine was going to be more about like us having our walkthrough and then just kind of the whole home buyer experience. How to set up for that.
Yeah.
Excuse me. God, that was disgusting.
You're very gassy.
I am.
And rude.
I just finished having lunch.
I'm just kidding.
With you, actually. But anyway, can you guys see how dirty this tabletop is? Anyway, it doesn't matter. So just talking about what that process is like, things that we've learned along the way, how we would prepare. So I think they're both kind of retrospective things, and then just kind of leading up into present.
I see. Which one do you want to talk about?
I don't care. You guys, can you guys let us know right now? I'm just kidding.
You have 3 seconds. Put in the comments.
Okay, if
below.
I win, we'll do paper, rock, scissors. If I win, then we do mine. If you win, you do yours. Ready?
Okay, yep.
Paper, rock, scissors. Paper, rock, scissors. You win. Go.
All right. If you guys want to hear about the home buying stuff, put in the comments below. We'll do it for the next video, okay?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So with colleges, a lot of you guys already know this, but I spent 5 years in high school.
Because you're stupid.
Stupid as fuck. And a lot of people would...
It's not because you're stupid.
A lot of people consider
you're just
that...
a troublemaker.
A fuck up. A moron. A super
Absolutely.
Senior.
I would have never fucked you in high school.
Nah, you would have been so attracted to me.
Fuck no. You were bald with a bunch of pimples.
Guarantee you.
But look at me now. I'm whooped.
No, yeah. So I was, so like I think academically I didn't succeed very well. I did do pretty good in tests. Extracurricular wise, I also didn't do that well. I think just because my mind wasn't really focused on anything. And I didn't really have any passions that I really latched onto.
Same.
Had I had very supportive, I guess, quote unquote, like Silicon Valley, Bay Area white parents, I think I would have been a little bit different. I probably wouldn't have been so delinquent. I would have probably played drums, or that was one of my passions, or martial arts, and really got into that.
Continued doing that,
Continued doing that, yeah. So by the time I graduated high school, and feel free to ask me any questions that you have during the whole process.
I usually do.
And by the time I graduated, I felt like I had to make the best of what I had. So with a like 1.17 average GPA, with a diploma that took me 5 years to get, with pretty high SAT scores, but without a good GPA, you're not getting anywhere. I thought my best bet was kind of like shake myself up, reset my Etch-a-Sketch that I call Bart Queasy, and join the Marine Corps to kind of get some discipline. And so I joined the Marine Corps, came out for sure, had some more discipline, and like I understood if you really want something like.
And how old are you when you come out of Marine Corps?
So I joined the Marine Corps when I was 18, and after I finished all of the boot camp, Marine combat training, and my job schooling, I came out I think roughly around 19.
Okay, so it takes about a year.
Yeah, depending on the job, but it takes roughly like 8 months to a year.
Okay. And
I just came back out from pretty much the most difficult time of my life, because in boot camp you go through, especially in Marine Corps boot camp, you go through this thing called a crucible. And it's like a 3-day training thing, and you only sleep 2 hours each day. and you pretty much march like 50 miles, and you have all these obstacles. You do all this stuff. So like when you come out, you're like, fuck yeah, I could do anything. And then so I revisit, what do I want to do? And at that time I was like, I think I want to be a lawyer, because I'm actually very logical, and I know I'm like academically sound.
And you love to argue.
I love to argue. You know that better than anyone. And then so bikini. So I was like, I'm gonna be a lawyer.
I got to take my stabs, all right? I got to get the wife in.
I
It
know.
just feels good.
I know. And then so I did that, and then my dad immediately, Asian dadding, was like, that's so stupid. What are you gonna do, argue for a fucking living? And I was like, all right, that's true. So what do I go back to the drawing board? Because I think when you're young.
Damn, what does your dad have against lawyers? They're pretty cool. There's some lawyers that defend good people.
I don't think he has anything against anyone. He's just the Asian dad, so he's just gonna talk shit.
Why a doctor? Why do you want to save lives? They put themselves in that position in the first place.
He'll say something more realistic than that.
Oh.
But like, for example, if I was like, hey dad, guess what? I make 10 million a year now.
That's
He'd
it.
be like, you know how much you have to pay in taxes?
That's funny.
You know?
How do you just find the fucking brain and everything?
I don't know. It's very realistic.
That's not that realistic.
No, I mean, like the way he
Oh, okay.
voices it, he doesn't go, that's it. That's unrealistic.
I get you.
But him is always glass half empty type of thing.
Yeah.
And then so
I get it. I'm just talking shit. I get it.
So I was like, okay, cool. Maybe I'll do medicine. And then like I have a family that's really big in medicine on my mom's side. And I was like, all right, maybe I'll do that. And then so because of that kind of like locked my mind into tunnel vision. And I'm like, fuck, here comes. Most people get their bachelor's in 4 years. If you're a science major, because you have all these prerequisites. So like if you're a chem major, you have to do all the prereqs for bio. If you're a bio major, you have to do all the prereqs for chem and bio. Like all of them are like that. If you're physics, maybe not so much physics, but like a lot of the sciences, even though you're doing a life science, you have to do all the prereqs for physical sciences and chemical sciences. It's just insane. So I'm like, all right, fuck. I'm about to go on this 5-year undergrad journey, tunnel vision. I'm not going to fucking have fun. I'm not going to experience
And
life.
you're at JC right now.
Yeah, join
Okay.
clubs. So I signed up at East LA Community College, and then they give you this sheet. Back in the day, I think it's called IGETSI.
Yep.
It's this sheet that like if you want to transfer to Cal State or UC, like you got to do all these things, right? And then
Damn,
like,
you have good memory.
do I?
But yeah, I wouldn't have known that off the top of my head. It wasn't until you said it that I'm like, yeah.
Oh,
I
you're
remember.
like, oh, that thing rings
I remember
a bell.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have the thing called IGETSI in front of me, and me and my other buddy, who's a business major, this fool has like, I don't know how many, like 13 classes or something. And mine's like, why do I got 31?
Oh
Fuck.
my God.
Like I just got like twice as many classes.
Yeah.
I'm like, son of a fucking bitch.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. And I think because of that tunnel vision, it limited so many things in my mind. Like one of them, which talked about in another podcast, which was I didn't go to jump school. So I was attached to a really cool Marine Corps unit. Shout out to 3rd Anglico. And they support a lot of special ops. And a lot of the guys at my unit are jump certified, which means they could jump out of a plane with a static line. And I passed the physical fitness test. They're about to slot me in and send me. And when I got my schedule, and I was like, uh-oh, this is going to be 3 weeks out of my school. It's going to push me back 1 quarter. When you're 19, getting things pushed back like 2 or 3 months.
It's like 3 years.
It's
It feels
a
like
huge deal. But looking back now, I'm like, what's the difference between graduating at like
'Cause a quarter's
23?
3 months.
Yeah.
Duh.
10 weeks for UC.
Oh.
It's like, what's the difference between graduating at 23 and 23 and a half? There's no fucking difference.
There's a huge difference. All your friends aren't going to be there anymore.
That's true. But I would have been jump certified, and I
Yeah,
would have
yeah,
had
yeah.
gold wings for the rest of my life.
Yeah, for the rest of your life. Yeah.
So,
But that's the mindset.
yeah, so that's probably regret number one. After making the best of what I had, of course, if I could rewind time, then regret number, I guess, before one would be not even getting into medicine and probably doing something I'm actually passionate about. So whether it's music, something creative, artistic, or going with the lawyer route.
But you knew you had options. That's more than what I thought.
What did you think?
So my story is completely different than yours.
Yeah.
And I'm actually going to hold here to talk about something very entrepreneurial.
Okay.
And this is going to be our first sponsor. This is ShipStation.
Woohoo!
Yeah. So I'm super excited to talk about this because this is for all of you people that want to start your own business, already have your own business, and you're going through and you have a product, a physical product that you're actually shipping out to people. Because I know when I was doing the merch for JK Films, remember when we used to fold clothes in our house? Yeah, we were folding clothes in our house. We were like putting it into all the envelopes. Like
we didn't even have a living room. We just had shelves. It looked like Social Network. Like Mark Zuckerberg. I was about to say Frank Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg movie.
That's probably his cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah. And back then, I'm talking about like 08, 09, maybe 010. I like how I went through 3 years.
Yeah.
We'll just say 010 for the sake of argument.
It was a blur.
It was a long time ago. But the system that we had to use then, I forgot who we were using, but it was slow as hell. Like one order would literally take like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like one order. It was the worst, slowest, most, I don't know. It was a big ass nightmare. So knowing that things like ShipStation exist now, these are just some of the perks, all right? So with ShipStation, e-commerce shipping is easy. So it doesn't matter if you're shipping from Amazon. It doesn't matter if you're shipping from Etsy, or I think now, I don't know how like Poshmark and all that stuff works, but I know you put your product on there. I'm assuming you have to sell it yourself. So all of this stuff is going to work perfect for you guys because they work with like 30 plus carriers. It's easy. You'll be up and running in minutes. No installation, you guys, or insanity involved. The fact that there's no insanity involved makes you want to sign up.
Other things have insanity involved.
The stuff we were doing.
Oh yeah, true.
20 minutes per one shirt.
Right.
It was one shirt. It was the worst thing ever. Import orders from all of your selling channels into one single platform. Create shipping labels that ship to 30 plus carriers. That's amazing. Sync order statuses and track details with your store and marketplace. Like the benefits go on and on. And then it says, so no matter where you're selling, again, like I said, Amazon, Etsy, your own website, you guys, you don't miss up on this. So it's, and right now, since you guys are listening, you're going to get 60 days, free 60 days when you use promo code BEAW. That's BEAW. All right. That's absolutely no risk. You can start with a free trial without even entering your credit card info. That's a huge one.
That's huge because everyone wants your credit card info before you even start anything.
Yeah, and I'm so particular about that stuff. As soon as I have to enter a credit card, because I know a lot of people won't follow through, I put a reminder on my phone and I'm like, you're not going to get me this time, motherfuckers. But then with this, you don't even have to enter that. So
and you have 2 months trial.
Exactly.
That's
2 months
dope.
trial. So that's, so just visit ShipStation.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage and type BEAW, BEAW. So that's ShipStation.com. Then enter promo code BEAW, BEAW, ShipStation.com. So make ship happen. That's a cute play on words.
I like.
Did
you make that? Did you make
no,
that?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
they did.
okay.
That's really cool.
That's good.
But yeah, for all you entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs, if you're shipping out the product, this is the best stuff for you. So going back to my story,
so you're saying you didn't know you even had
I had
options.
no ideas. So I did have already a sister that was in the Cal State system. So she was in it. I think when I was in high school, I think she had already completed her master's. So she...
she's like 12, 15 years older than you, right?
Yeah. So she had already achieved a pretty high level in her schooling career.
Yeah.
But we weren't ever a family to talk about academics or like life other than very traditionally. So in academics, it's like, well, you got to get an A. Like that's just no question about it. And then in terms of life, it's like, well, you got to get your degree and then you got to get a good job. More than that conversation, there was no talk about it.
So you guys never talked about like, oh, what subjects do you like? Or what do you want to study?
Nah.
Do you like this?
I think there was maybe too many of us and too little time with my parents. There was 4 of us.
Yeah.
And then my mom and my dad, they both worked full time. So there was never really anyone there. And like my sister, I guess that just wasn't her thing.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know about like prestigious universities. I didn't know about like, I didn't even know that you had to pay so much money for your own books. Like I just thought, oh, a book? We need to buy our own books for school. Okay, that's like $40. And it's like 120, 150.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
expensive.
Oh my God. So I was completely underprepared.
Yeah.
So for me, because I didn't know anything about college or any of that stuff, like grades, I didn't understand that that's what you really needed to get into a college. I just thought like, okay, JC route, they take anyone.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I heard through the grapevine.
Yeah.
So then so I didn't even bother taking the stats because I'm like, well, what's the point? Like, I'm not that good.
Taking what stats?
Like the SATs?
Oh,
I don't know why I called them stats. taking the SATs. So then it comes time for me to graduate. I have pretty decent grades because I did fuck up really hard. So I came in with almost a 4.0, like I had a 3 point something in my freshman year. My senior year, I fucked up and I had like 1 point something.
You had senioritis?
Sophomore. My sophomore year.
Your sophomore year.
My sophomore year, I had that. So
what happened in the sophomore year?
I just wanted to hang out and have friends and not care. And like school was getting in the way.
At any point where you're like, this is ruining my future?
No, because I didn't think about a future. Like at 15, I didn't give a fuck about a future.
You're talking about high school right now?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about college.
No, I'm talking about high school. This is before my college career even started.
Gotcha, okay.
That's why I didn't take the SATs and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so so my sophomore year in high school, I was just fucking up completely, just hanging out, having a good time. And then it wasn't until I wanted to play sports that requires a GPA of, I think, 2.0.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I'm like...
It's usually like 2.0 or 2.5 or something
maybe
like that.
Maybe it's 2.5. At that point, because I tried out.
Yeah.
I made it, but I couldn't play because of my grades. That was the only reason why I got my grades back up. So now it's time for me to graduate. Everyone's talking about SATs, and I'm like, I don't know, whatever. Like, I'm just going to follow my my brother's footsteps. I'm just
Did they
go
take
to
the SATs?
I have no idea.
What footsteps are you following? You don't even know.
I'm telling you.
Oh, okay.
So I'm following their footsteps of going to JC, which is ELAC, because they both went to ELAC, and then I was going to go into the Cal State system myself, because we also weren't really allowed to sleep at a university, like to move away.
The dorm.
Yeah, to dorm and move away from home to attend a school. So we couldn't do that either.
Did you ever have the thought of being competitive? Like, there's some competitive families like, oh, this is what Big Brother did, where I'm gonna beat him. What's better than that? And then the other little brother.
I didn't even know. I didn't even know to think that way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I had no idea. I just thought that I didn't know anything about them in terms of schooling.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm just a blank slate, and everyone, I have no idea about anything.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. So then I don't take my test. I have decent enough grades to where ELAC at that point was taking anyone. It's not like now.
Almost all community colleges take anyone.
Well, I don't know about that now, because I think it's just so crowded.
Yeah.
That you can't even get classes anywhere anymore. You have to sign up, register right away. So everything's way more competitive.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So at that time, it was not competitive at all. So it's like you're born and you're already accepted.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what happened with the whole ELAC thing. And then with the EGETSI, I was looking at all that stuff to see what the requirements were. And I think before you even fill that out, they give you a list. Normally, I guess people know what they want to get into. And I was talking to my counselor, and I'm like, I have no fucking idea, because I don't even know what. I only know construction work. I only know teachers. I only know things that I interact with.
I think it's about 50-50. I know there's people that at least in high school, because I understood the college system already. There's a lot of people that are applying, and I'm like, oh, what are you going to major in when you go there? And they're like, oh, I'm undecided. And there's about 50% that I know that they just know they want to go to this school, but they don't know what major they want. Yeah,
well, I was part of I don't know what happens in this school. I don't know. I know I'm going to get a degree. What that means, I have no fucking idea. And
Damn.
What I want to do, I have no clue. So I remember sitting there and looking at all the majors that can possibly exist. And then I was just like, okay, well, I'm going to circle things that interest me.
Yeah.
So I was like, business, marketing, blah, blah, blah.
That's kind of cool. How did you know anything about business or marketing?
Well, I just knew about businesses. I interact with the business, I just didn't know what that really meant. I was like, oh, brick and mortar? That's what business means?
Yeah.
And then marketing, because I look at ad agencies and stuff like that. So then I'm like, oh, marketing's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then I just bubbled that and I went in that direction. But I do regret not asking more questions. Back then too, there was no access to internet. So I couldn't even stumble across anything if I wanted to. You really had to seek out this information.
Yeah.
So I guess a regret of mine, which isn't really a regret, but if I could go back and do things differently, I would have probably hung out with what I classified as the nerdier, geekier kids.
In high school or in college?
In high school. I'm just talking about high school here. Because they just already knew the whole system. They were stressing out over the SAT scores. They were stressing out about GPA and all that, because they understood the next steps and what that leads to. Yeah. So I would have probably hung out with them.
But what's crazy is a lot of the people that I looked at. So in the Asian community, how they always have that that trope of Asian parents comparing their kids with other kids. So like the Asian community, it's very normal to like, oh, what did your kids do? What did your kids do? And then so within all of my mom's friends, I was probably the worst one and the most in trouble. Whereas a lot of them, they were going to UC straight out of high school. They knew exactly what they did. But ironically, I'm the most successful one out of all of them. So even though they...
So then is this whole conversation pointless?
No, it's not pointless because I could have been probably even more.
Maybe or not.
Or those guys...
You would have hated it.
True. Or those guys might have been knowing too much that they got so burnt out that now they're like, oh, my brain is got so fried in the 4 years of high school preparing for this.
That's all possible.
I need to chill out. But it is time for our next sponsor, which is Skillshare. And oh my goodness, this one relates so much to this topic. Is so cool. So Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of amazing classes covering dozens of creative and entrepreneurial skills. So you could take classes on anything. And this is what's so cool about this is like instead, like outside of the institution of education, where like let's say you want to dabble in marketing or whatever, right? You got like 3 prerequisites. A lot of times you got to take like 3-4 classes before you can even take the class that you really want to take. With this one, you just choose what you want to dabble in. So whether it's photography or website building or marketing or whatever, you could just kind of pick it and just start watching all these videos. And one thing that I am for sure going to take on Skillshare is copy. So copywriting, it's a complete different skill. Whereas, so when you're just writing a text to your friends, it's very conversational, casual. But for business captions and for business emails, there's an effective way of writing where it kind of gets you emotionally riled up. You ever read like some things where it's just like, okay, I think all the facts are there, but it's kind of like lifeless. Well, it would be awesome to be able to write with emotion and like just like key terms or even some company slogans like Nike, just do it. You read it and you're like, ooh, I like the way that makes me feel. So I would love to learn a copywriting class. That's for sure what I would want to do. But all of our listeners right now, if you go to the site and you go to Skillshare.com/Beaw, BEAW, you get 2 months of unlimited access to thousands of classes for free. So for those of you guys that are in college and undecided, this is a good way to even test it out to see if you want to go deeper into a certain major, or if you're already set and you want to add things to your major. Like my cousin right now, he is going to med school. And then one thing that he had to consider that I never had to do was he's like, oh, snaps. Social media actually affects how successful of a doctor you are. Because a lot of the top doctors he follows have big accounts and it kind of goes hand in hand. So maybe even if you are a pre-med or whatever, you can go on here and learn how to maximize social media marketing and all that. So go to Skillshare.com/Beaw, BEAW, 2 free months. That's Skillshare.com/BEAW, and you can have access to a ton of different classes that can either you dabble in or just make your own personal portfolio that much more competitive.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So kind of going back to what I was saying, I guess just speaking very honestly and stuff, there's nothing I would really want to change in my past, because then it kind of led me, but it led me to where I'm at now, and I'm in such a great place in my life. I wouldn't change it for anything. But if I had any piece of advice for, people that are 18 right now and they're making that transition into life, things like Skillshare is absolutely amazing because like you said, like you have all these things at your fingertip, right? Like you have different like schools of thought, different courses that you can take, that you can dabble in at minimal cost, and you can find out for yourself if it like tickles your fancy or not.
Yeah, and you know what's fucking sick about it? This is one of the sickest parts about it compared to school. So when you go to school, right, like let's say you take a marketing class, you open the book and it's marketing started in 1200s when Christopher Columbus wore these symbols on his chest piece. And it's like, motherfucker, I don't give a fuck.
You just want to apply it already.
I am starting a t-shirt company with my bros and I want to know how to sell it, right?
Yeah.
So it's not even applicable. These things, they're like 20, 30, 40-minute courses. You watch it and it's like directly hit the ground running, which
Yeah.
is way different from the way school teaches, which
Yeah.
is fucking awesome.
Yeah, and for someone like me, like I feel like I needed school.
Yeah.
Like I needed the structure because I'm, at least the way I was then, I was a very like, I want to know the rules, but then I want to break them, but not that much.
Yeah.
And then I also needed some sort of structure because I wasn't really taught to think for myself because
Yeah.
I was the kid in my family that was like, well, why can't I do this? Why? But
Why?
you're right. And then but then like my parents would like scold me for that. Like
Yeah.
just because I said so,
Yeah.
like stop talking back. Don't do that. So even though I had that in me inherently, it was just something that was very suppressed. So
Yeah.
I thought I was always wrong for doing that. So because I didn't have the confidence to be like, no, this is good. You're a seeker. Like you want to seek out different options and answers. And if things don't calculate, you want to figure that out. But I didn't know that about myself. So school exposed me to a lot of different people from all walks of life. So yeah, maybe you could say like, oh, the classroom teaches you shit that you can't really apply right away. But the people that you're learning from, they teach you something, you know? And
Yeah.
then just by you sitting there, you can tell yourself like, oh, fuck, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
You know, or this really is for me and I'm like interested in it. You know, and you really gotta like be honest and be like, wait, is this really for me or is this not? Like someone like my brother, he didn't continue his schooling because he's like, wait, this isn't for me. And at such a young age, I really respect and admire that about him.
That was really cool, yeah.
Yeah, that he's like, wait, I'm not a book person. Like this is not, like, not to say he's not smart. He's very smart. But
Just
for
because
him,
you don't like school doesn't mean you're dumb.
right. But for him, he just knew that like he didn't want a white collar job.
Yeah.
He likes getting his hands dirty. He likes working with his hands.
To be honest, I think I'm much more blue collar than white collar too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he knew that about himself. So he's like, wait a minute, I'm going to stop here. Like, I'm just going to cut my losses and I'm going to just get into what I want to start doing. What that was, he didn't know. And he didn't figure it out till, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years.
Yeah.
But now he owns his own electrician company, which is amazing. But, and what, he's like 40? And I think like it's never too late to really jump into something. But that's why I say now, like, just like fill your brain up with as much as you possibly can, like things like Skillshare. That's amazing.
Yeah. When I'm saying like things I would have done differently in college, I'm not saying from a regretful point of view.
Yeah.
Because everything I did brought me to where I am
Yeah.
now, where I met you, my
The
beautiful
love of your
wife, my
yeah.
fucking queen, my goddess. We have
Yeah.
a beautiful, cute ass motherfucking kid.
Motherfucking yeah.
And but how I'm viewing it is like a UFC fight. You know, like obviously this guy won, but even though they won, they're gonna still go back with the coaches and go, "What could have you done better?"
Yeah.
So that's how I'm viewing it. Where
How would you have done? What would you have done in my situation?
well, it's different. So like I think our situations are completely opposite.
Yeah.
For me, I understood the system from A to Z, and I knew how to do everything. I just didn't have the confidence to go and put my foot down and go, I want to do this.
Yeah.
Or I didn't. I also
What
didn't.
19-year-old really does though? Like there are those outliers.
Yeah.
But who has that?
The ones with the Silicon Valley hipster Bay Area parents. Because I think it's been nurtured since they were a kid.
To communicate.
To communicate and to kind of see like a kid like, oh, this kid kind of skateboards a lot. For Christmas, instead of buying him a piano that he never even asked for, maybe I'll get him a half pipe.
Yeah.
You know, like slowly kind of nurture what the kid is versus like my parents, they're just like, here's a Christmas sweater. And I'm like, you know, I sweat like 360. Like, do you even know who your son is? Like all my gifts were all of my gifts were out of the blue, you know? So I think like, that's the difference. But then
That's so cute. What if like, because we have a kid now.
yeah.
And I think kids change so much and they get to a point where they internalize so much that I feel like we're going to give our kid gifts out of the blue too.
I hope not. I really
Yeah.
hope that, I mean, you're not, you fucking kill it. Like he had no real inclination of like being a climber. I mean, he was climbing a couch like every other kid does. And then you're like, fuck it, let's get him a little jungle gym. And he starts climbing the shit out of it. And then now he's so good that we can take him to the real park and he's climbing that thing. So for sure, we were taking him to gymnastics, and he was just too dumb to understand what's going on back then.
I know. I want to take him back now.
But like, yeah, imagine we take him back. He's gonna be hanging on that thing. He's gonna be so good.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of nurture, and I think we really like watch him versus the way my mom. Like, I learned addition and subtraction when I was like 3 or 4.
That's amazing.
It's amazing, but it's like,
Too soon.
But that make me happy, Mom?
Yeah.
And then if that didn't make me happy, the minute you ease off the gas pedal, I'm gonna stop too.
Yeah.
Versus, I think finding what the kid wants and nurturing that, you don't even have to apply gas, and they're gonna apply their own gas.
Yeah. I mean, they're gonna eventually learn how to count. Like, they're not being raised by wolves.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess kind of like looking back at my thing, right? Like my MMA fight of life.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know what to do different because I just didn't have the resources.
Did you ever like reach any points, like any milestones that you're like, so there's these 2 decisions. I went with this one. I could have went with this one.
Nah.
Like, for example, the one, here it goes with all the other for examples. But like, for example.
That's a different video.
I know. But for example, like, I know one reason you went with a local school is because your parents.
Had to.
You had to, right? But looking back, do you think it would have been a better choice to go, fuck you, parents, I'm going to go to Virginia?
At that point, no, because I was so lost. I needed any sort of stability, and they were my stable rock.
Your parents?
Yeah. So, like, as independent and as strong as I thought I was, looking back, I'm like, oh no, I was a shaky, scary kid.
And you don't think that would have made it even better to like drop you in the middle of the South or the East Coast?
Maybe,
and
but I was
survive.
But I was so sheltered. Like, I wanted to pretend I was big and bad.
Yeah.
But if I would have been dropped off in the South, I wouldn't even know where to begin because I wasn't given any like life skills.
Oh.
At all. Like, I wanted to start working at the age of 16. My mom's like, fuck no, you're not doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right. Well, so I had no understanding of the world at all.
Because you never even traveled, really.
Nothing.
Oh,
like,
that's interesting.
Nothing. Yeah. And I didn't even really have close friends that I can see how their parents interact. You know, like, everyone was kind of dysfunctional.
Yeah.
So I never really had anyone I can like mimic and copy that was doing the right thing.
You know how I went to a military school when I was like 16 in San Diego and had the dorm there? Do you think that would have freaked you out if you were 16 and your parents like, I'm going to drop you off here, you're going to live here now?
No, because I would have been freaked out because it's new. But no, because my parents are involved and my parents aren't going to do anything.
Gotcha.
Well, they support me, but they're not going to put me in any sort of situation that's dangerous.
Yeah.
As opposed to me doing my own decision making, my own research, and then going to somewhere that's like in the South, like you said, and then being there and going like, oh my God, I calculated this completely wrong. I'm going to fucking get murdered.
Yeah.
You know, but if my parents were involved, I'm like, okay, cool. Like they know what they're doing. I'm just going to follow that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why, like, I don't do this often. And I don't think I talk about this often, even with you behind, you know, closed doors, but I'm actually really proud of who I turned out to be.
That's
you know,
awesome.
Because it's like, I didn't have any guidance. Like, I really had zero guidance. And for me to be at the place in life where I'm at now, where I'm owning, you know, businesses, and I'm very independent, and I'm like, I've earned every single thing that I've gotten. I'm just like, holy fuck, that's actually really, when I sit there and I think about it, I'm like, holy fuck, I've come a long ass way.
That's fucking awesome.
It's wild. It's wild because everyone around me, not to throw shade on anyone, was just into partying. And then they literally 85% of my crew got knocked up and they had to just find jobs and their life stopped for a minute.
I'm very proud of you.
Like, that's why
I'm proud of
thank you.
the young Gio, and I'm proud of the old Gio too.
Thank you. But that's why for me, when having this conversation, I'm just like, I don't know what I would have done differently because I didn't know jack shit and I didn't have access to anyone.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Because this is very intriguing to me.
Yeah.
So you were a student athlete.
Yes.
And for a lot of people that don't know that, to me, student athletes are probably one of the more elite students on campus, regardless of grades, just because it's a career within a career.
Yeah.
You know, like when you're, imagine you're an econ major. Oh, but my school's so impacted and the classes, and oh my God, it's so fucking hard. Yeah. And then imagine that and then playing like college level, I don't know, water polo, and you got 2 practices a day on top of the impacted classes that I can never get.
Well, and I worked full time.
And you worked full time, right? Like, Did you, when you went to Cal State LA, how did you know to also play volleyball still?
Well, I didn't play, so I made it, but I didn't play in Cal State LA.
Okay, so like at ELAC,
Yeah.
even at a community college. So
That's when I had to stop because of Cal State, like, because I knew the school load was gonna get so fucking over.
I see.
Because we're working with quarters now.
Yeah.
And a semester is way longer than a quarter.
yeah.
So then, because I knew Cal State was gonna move so rapidly, now
Yeah.
it was like, okay, this is a passion.
Yeah.
And then because I'm paying my own way through school, I had zero financial support from my parents, like zero. I didn't get
Yeah.
a free car. I didn't get any money at all, zero.
Yeah.
So then when I was transferring over to Cal State LA, was like, okay, well, do I pursue my passion of playing volleyball, or do I get a full-time job so that I can continue like going to school and getting all these things?
Well, like, let's say, what about
At ELAC, I was doing all three.
East LA Community College? So for me, I wrestled in high school, right? And then East LA Community College actually has a pretty good wrestling program. And two of my buddies, they got full rides to like ASU, another Arizona school, another school in Colorado, and their program's pretty good. So I met with the wrestling coach, and then the minute he told me that there's 2 practices a day, I was like, my medical school tunnel vision was not gonna allow that, and I'm like, no, thank you. For you, what made you go like that? Oh, that's no problem. I'll just do like my practices and I'll still go to school. Like, that's pretty,
Yeah.
How do you?
Well, I mean, I also wasn't striving for 4.0.
Yeah.
I was striving for, let's just get through it. Let's get as good grades as we can.
Just find
like
a
I
hot
knew
Asian husband to
I
marry.
knew, yeah, right. I knew that I wasn't like gonna like ruin any of my schooling, right? Like I knew I was a decent student. I was never like top in my class ever. Like I've always been pretty average.
Yeah.
So I knew if I just studied and I did my homework and I did my projects that I was gonna get decent grades. So I
Yeah.
ended up graduating with like a 3 something, right? So it's not the greatest, but it's not like
Below average, yeah.
Right. So I'm like, okay, you know what? The workload is pretty easy. I'm like, my full-time job was just, I was a barista, and it would get crazy busy just the first week or 2 of every new semester because it was a college bookstore. But other than that, it was really chill. So I just knew that I like was able to move things around in my life. And I was just so passionate about volleyball that there's just no way I can't make it work.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have to make it work.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is fucking fun. Like,
Yeah.
I can't go out. I can't do anything. Still in college.
Yeah.
I can't do anything. I have all these restrictions. But now I get to make friends. I get to travel with my friends. I get to play. Like, I had to make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In many ways, just hearing about your college career, I'm actually very envious.
Why?
I'm very envious of your college career, and I think although you had no guidance, the thing that I'm very envious about is how honest you were to your intentions. So it was like, I know this much, so I make decisions based off this much, right? So you're like, I'm gonna go to college. I kind of like business marketing. Let's get into that. I remember I really liked volleyball and I was good at it in high school. Let's do that. So it's almost like every step that you take, it was wholehearted, honest, and vulnerable. And I think the amount of satisfaction that you get from making honest decisions, I think that's why you don't regret anything. For me, I think I have a ton of regret because
Got
I don't
it.
think any of my decisions were honest.
They were never yours.
They were never mine. So for like, not for example, but like even going to ELAC, right? I have even having the slightest tendency of like, oh, maybe I should wrestle in college. I should have jumped on it. I should have jumped on it and try to make a way to make it work. What am I trying to say?
I don't know. You should have found a way to make it work.
I should have found a way to make it work. Although kind of like you, where I also was a Marine at the same time, so I had drill and stuff. That was hard. But I think the more, I almost felt like my heart was trying to go this direction, and every single move I made was so dishonest.
Oh.
So I think that's why, like, by the time I got to my college graduation year, I probably was a little bit depressed, and I think I was,
damn.
yeah, and I think I was just felt so fed up with school that
Oh, that
my
sucks.
senior year, I had the craziest senioritis because nothing was like it was almost like my mind and my heart was splitting.
That sucks. I never had senioritis.
I had pretty good grades in college because I really stepped it up. The year right before I transferred to UCLA, I got a 4.0. Like that was,
wow.
Everything was on lock.
I've never hit a 4.0, I think.
Because I was like, I really got to get my shit together. And then at UCLA, I had like mid to high threes. And then all of a sudden, I think my last 2 classes, I was like, man, fuck this shit. I'm just going to pass. And I got like 2 C's or I got like a D or something like that. Because I just had so much senioritis. And I think I had so much pent up hate that I didn't even know why I had this hate, because I think I'm making decisions for myself.
Yeah.
But I was living a lie. And then like, so my first chance to kind of being authentic to myself was wrestling. I didn't do that. Then I also gave up going to jump school for this tunnel vision medical school. I should have went to jump school. Fuck it, who cares? Graduated a quarter later. Got to UCLA. And then I just chose, okay, so what's a good major that a lot of people do to go into medicine? And I chose psychobiology. When it was like every Monday, Wednesday, or every Tuesday, Thursday or something at the gym that I worked out at the Wooden Center.
Yeah.
I would see these kids come in with notepads and they're like working out, and then they take notes, and I'm like, oh, what's that? What class is that? And then people, oh, that's for exercise physiology. Oh. So I'm like, oh shit, that's a life science.
And you still didn't do it?
I still didn't do it.
Oh, wow.
And then I would listen to more of what they're doing, and then they would do creatine experiments on themselves. So there was a class where everyone had to take creatine for 8 weeks, write down their program, like things on.
That's amazing. You shut yourself down so many times.
I know. I would just look at that and I'm like, but what do people do with exercise physiology? Like, oh, most people, they get into either like doctor of physical therapy or whatever, and like all these like sports medicine. I think I would have loved sports medicine, to be honest, but I was so set on like internal medicine, family physician, like this romantic.
That's all you knew.
Yeah, this romantic thing that I thought I wanted to do.
Yeah, because when have you interacted in your life with a sports medicine person? So you don't know if they're making good money. Like what you interacted with was family doctors, and you knew they made good money. So you were like, that's safe.
But what I should have done is go, what does my heart feel?
I mean, you don't know to do that. Like you're barely learning how to think for yourself at that age.
That's why I'm going back now and going, this, like if I when little Taika, like even going back all the way to high school, I was really into drums, right? And I was really good at drumming. And then I found out, there's a couple of like the seniors in my band. They were like, oh, we're going to Berklee School of Music. And I'm like, oh, that's like one of the top ones. Dope. And
it didn't click for you? You were like, dope, I'm going to go do medicine.
No, and then I would talk to my mom about it. And she goes, no, what are you going to do there?
Oh.
And then so she kind of like talked me out of it.
Oh, that sucks. It sucks when your parents don't know. Even it just sucks when people don't know shit, and then they're so strong with
they're opinionated when they don't know anything.
Yeah, like I know I'm opinionated when I don't know shit, but I'm never gonna press anyone to talk them out of something. Like I think I'm really open-minded when it comes to a discussion.
Yeah.
And I want to stay that way for Taika.
Yeah.
Like if I don't understand it, and I'm like, let's say he wants to do skydiving,
yeah,
right? I'm gonna fucking hate that because I'm like, holy shit, my baby's life is in danger. I spent 9 motherfucking months making your ass, not eating sushi, not drinking alcohol. Not that I drink it that much, but I like my options.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and now you just want to jump out of fucking planes and destroy my creation.
Yeah.
But I'd be like, talk to me about it.
Or
Why?
if we even do our due diligence as parents.
Why?
Or even if we do our due diligence as parents and we research, and it's like 99% of people don't die from skydiving or something like that, like then we can like, instead of putting our internal fears and projecting the internal fears, because I think that's what my mom did.
It stunts the growth. Where
I didn't know, but I think a lot of those Bay Area, Silicon Valley hipster parents that I talk about, they probably were like, oh yeah, little Timmy really likes playing the tuba. Yeah, if you want to go to
Timmy plays the tuba.
Yeah, like if he wants to like go to a Berklee School of Music, like that makes sense. Yeah. That's the next step. Yeah. And I just wish there was more support for me onto the next step. Yeah. One other thing that I also regret too is when I first joined my unit already maxed out on the amount of times it can go to Iraq and Afghanistan. But they were assembling like a detachment to go. And I actually put my name down on it.
God damn, you're crazy.
I put my name down on it. I'm like, dope. I want to fight for the country.
It's the honorable thing to do, right?
Yeah, and I also want to. I want to be like a full Marine. Like I've done the training, but I want to put it into application. And then I talked to my parents. Of course, they talked me out of it. I talked to my friends. They all talked me out of it. they're like, if you don't have a choice, you don't have to do it. We didn't have a choice. My unit's going, so I have to go. And so I'm like, all right. But then looking back, I think I should have done that.
You're crazy.
And just really get the experience out of life, you know?
Yeah.
So there's like all those things. One thing that I am very grateful for that I don't regret, but I am, what's the opposite of regret? I guess grateful.
Yeah.
The one thing that I'm very grateful and
I was like,
appreciative.
you said it, but maybe there's another word.
The one thing I'm really grateful for is while I was at community college, in my like pre-med program, there were so many people that already had a bachelor's, like in business or something, or computer science, people that are 25, 40, 30, coming back for a second chance at life. And they didn't like their current job and they want to get into medicine. When I saw that, I always knew, I was like, oh, cool. If something doesn't work out, your life's not over.
Yeah.
You can always go back to community college and just redirect your life. And then so I stayed friends with a lot of them once I transferred, and a lot of them, they end up going like a post-bac program, which is post-bachelor program. And then they end up becoming a doctor, doing what they want to do. And I think because I knew I always had like an out, when I had senioritis, I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to do comedy. And if comedy doesn't work out and I do end up going back to school, I can always take this route back. And I'm very grateful that I had access to seeing people get their second chance, because I knew that actually existed.
Yeah, I think this is one thing I literally grill into my mom's head subtly.
Yeah.
Every single day, because my mom grew up with a bunch of abuse, mental, physical. She had an alcoholic father, so she just is a very soft person. So for her, any decision, if it doesn't go the right way, or if it offends anyone, if it hurts anyone, if it goes against the plans, she is completely just a puddle. Like she just wants to die. It's like the end of the world for her. So for me, because I always feel bad when the people that I care about, when I see that they can be stronger, they don't give themselves that respect. Then that makes me sad, and it makes me want to push for them to see that in themselves. So with my mom, I'm always like, this is what I tell her every day. I'm always like, Mom, the only decision in life that you can never undo, and I'm like, and even then there's still some exceptions to this rule. The only decision that you can never undo, or the only thing you have no control over, is death. I'm like, everything else in life, there's always an out. There's always an escape route. Like nothing is that serious. And then I'm like, even when people die, they fucking come back still.
Some people, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, that goes to show you that no decision is ever the end all be all. Like, and I think I've always felt this way in my life. So like, even when I was going to college, like I knew that like, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what was going to happen in life, but I was just like, okay, I know what my necessities are, right? Like I need to make money. And then as long as my parents can let me live in their house, cool, I can make these decisions, and I cannot have to worry, like I cannot worry about money and all that stuff. So in this meantime, because they have so much control over me or whatever, let me see what things I can do to get some sort of taste of freedom, right? So then I did every quarter at Cal State LA, I made sure that I took one class that was fun.
That's pretty cool.
Every single quarter. So
something that like really interested you.
Yeah, so I'm a business major, but I enrolled in a psychology class, but just on emotions.
Oh, that's
I'm
really
like,
cool.
how is that even gonna, like, I see now how it all applies.
Yeah.
But it was not a business major prereq at all.
Yeah.
So I did that. And then what was another course I took? Man, I can't even remember.
Take photography or like
That was high school.
pottery?
I took Korean.
Oh,
I took
Korean.
a language.
Yeah, that's cool.
So every quarter I made sure I just took something that had nothing to do with my major, and I'm like, let's just do something fun. Because I was just like, well, I'm paying for this.
Yeah.
They're not charging you per like units that you're taking. It's like, at least at that time it was like, or maybe they were, I don't remember. But I just had enough to where I was like, okay,
well, they
I can
charge
pick
you
and
for
choose.
like the full units, and it's up to you how you pack it.
Right,
Anyways,
something like that.
Yeah.
It's been a minute since I've been in college, but yeah, so that was fun. But my driving force, my why was always like freedom. I need freedom. I need to do stuff that like I can't do. So then when I was able to work now, I'm like, I'm going to work as far away from home as I can. Because like I need to expose myself to some sort of different life than what I'm used to.
Did you ever think about just like moving halfway across the country for work?
I couldn't. There was no way I could do that. Like,
Or
remember,
even when you started saving up, and then when you actually moved out.
that was really hard because I was only making enough money, and I only knew this area. You know, like that was
Yeah.
way too scary for me. The fact that I moved out on my own, that was already like, holy shit, because no one in my family ever did that. So for me to do that, I'm like, holy fuck, what am I doing? Okay, I think this is a good decision. Fuck it. Like, that's always been my life motto. Like, fuck it.
My mom, like, you know, she has all those X-Men fortune teller friends.
Yeah.
So one of them was telling my mom that it's highly possible that when your son's like 18 or 19, and this is when I was like 15, that your son's gonna move halfway across the country. And then she was like, what? And then at that time, I think I hated how my parents were raising me and controlling me so much. I couldn't wait. I was like, oh shit, am I gonna go to college halfway across the country? It's gonna be so dope.
I like that's the only way that you can leave.
That's what I
Is it
thought.
college?
But then it ended up lining up, which is kind of strange. When I was 19, I went to North Carolina for my job schooling in the Marine Corps. So it was halfway across the country, and I got to see a completely different side of the country, and it was really, really cool.
What was your point in bringing that up?
Just because, like, for me, I think, like, I couldn't wait to leave home. I couldn't wait to go halfway across. Like, just give me a chance to leave home. I need to get the hell out of here.
Yeah. I think certain personality types definitely need to do that, because for my little sister, that wasn't her personality type. Hers was, she was comfortable. Like, she's not the type. Like, for me, I'm all about freedom. For her, it was more. I don't know her that well, so I'm not sure what it really was. But
she's traveling a lot now.
She is now, but at least at that time, she just seemed very comfortable where she was.
Yeah.
So, like, for me, as soon as I can get my driver's license, that's the first shit I'm doing.
Yeah.
But for her, it was like, my mom's like, hey, like, you're about to be 18. You still don't want to get your license? She's like, nah, maybe later. She's very, like, I don't know if she's go with the flow or that's just not what her priority was. So I know there's a lot of different people out there. But I just, this is something that always helped me.
Yeah.
It was like, I just said, like, fuck it. Like, fuck it, let's do it. Like,
Me too.
Like, fuck it, let's do it. Fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah.
I didn't have to have everything so calculated.
That's one thing I wish I did more in college, was say fuck it more. I think because I had tunnel vision, and you know when you get like the I get see is like one small taste of it, but then when you like really lay out and you talk to like any counselor and you go, I want to get into medical school, it's like you look at this long list of classes.
Yeah.
Then you go, fuck, I got MCAT, and then I also have how many? Most people have like 100 of volunteer hours at a hospital. It's like going to medical school, that feat on its own is almost like another major doing a double major.
It's like almost a decade of your life you're giving up.
Yeah,
before
you're
you
doing
can even do anything.
so much shit, so that when you look at it, like it's just so daunting and scary that I didn't say fuck it enough, and I wish I would have said fuck it way more in college.
Yeah, I didn't have the ability to say the big fuck it, like the big fuck it that makes it count.
And even real fucking. I think I should have fucked more in college too.
Yeah.
Because you said you wish you would have fucked
Not
more
in college. Not in college, but just when I was single. Not in college,
Oh,
though.
post college.
Yeah, like after college. Because in college, I was just too dumb. I was too stupid. Like, I
You
don't
have
know.
to be smart to fuck.
Emotionally dumb.
Oh, you would have fell in
Yeah.
love with everybody?
No, I would have felt, I don't think I loved myself enough at that point to be like, I'm just fucking because this is just dope.
I see.
And it's a different type of connection that I can have with people. Like, I was such a lost soul. Like, I thought I was super rebellious. I thought I was super vegan or vegetarian. I thought I was very spiritual. Then I thought I was super philosophical. And then I thought, like, I was really trying to figure out who I was.
I remember that time. Because we were friends of friends.
Yeah.
And during that time, I remember when you would get it all into, like, dive into things. I thought it was so hot.
Oh, thanks. Yes, I was trying really hard to figure out who I was, that, like, I didn't want to give any piece of me away to someone that, like, I didn't know they were going to invest in me, or vice versa. Like, I was like, I'm not going to give you bragging rights. But yeah, I didn't want to do any of that in college.
Yeah.
But fuck, what was I saying?
That you love me, I think.
Yeah, I do love you. Absolutely love you. But
and that I'm right all the time, I think.
No, and I definitely did not say that. No, but, like, these are things that I tell my nephew now, who's 19, where I'm like, dude, Like, you don't have to know what it is that you got to do. Like,
Yeah.
life is always going to change. It's going to throw curveballs. Today, you might be working towards being a fireman, and tomorrow you're going to be like, dude, I want to make cupcakes for the rest of my life. And I'm like, and all that is okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, you just need to know what it is that you like. Do you like picking up cans on the side of the street? We'll talk about that.
I actually think the way you approached it unintentionally is like one of the best ways.
Wait, well, how did I do it?
Just how I was saying, like, I was envious because so for me, I knew my 10-step plan. I knew what my 10-year plan was. But,
and you were really rigid.
But because and it was like this, but my heart was here. So I know what I'm supposed to do, and I'm doing all these things that are dishonest. For you, you were taking every single honest step. So if you want to be a fireman in the cupcake example, like let's say you take your honest step, you go to the fire academy, you become a firefighter. From there, you start making cupcakes to raise money to get more fire trucks or something, and you find a passion about it, and then you really go into cupcake making.
Yeah, I guess yes and no a little bit. No, so yes, because at that time at least, conventional jobs is what's respected. So unconventional jobs, like, now it's different, right? Because people know what YouTube and social media, and they understand that you can make a business and a living off of that.
Yeah.
But back in that day, that didn't exist. So you had to pick one of those major majors, I guess majors or popular majors. And then you would get people's respect, like, oh, business, huh? That's really cool. But, like, I don't know if I would have been someone that was like, I'm going to go into making cupcakes. Because that's like, really? How are you going to make money off of that?
That's not what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
What I'm saying is that what you're telling your nephew is
gotcha.
Don't think 10 steps ahead. Yeah. If you're going to be a firefighter, be the best firefighter you can. But if some situation pops up where you have to make cupcakes and now you're like, oh shit, I'm going to make a left turn. Go ahead.
Yeah.
And I think that's how people can reach happiness, is by being honest every step of the way. And like even with JK, it was, okay, I'm doing comedy and working out. And then all of a sudden the gym sprouts out. Like everything after college, I was way more honest with myself.
Cool. And
I think I've been much happier. And even though it led me in a bunch of different ways, like now we're like investing in like a matcha company, and like there's just all these other things.
Yeah.
But they all organically came, and they were all things that were true and honest to me.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. So much to the point where now full circle, which this is really cool. When I was in Vegas, I was texting my old roommate, Jonathan, because he's a pharmacist now. So he actually went into the medical field. I was texting him about medications that I was getting. And then now that I actually have money, I even threw it out there. I'm like, hey, if you ever want to open a pharmacy and you need an investor, let me know. Because he's the guy that's a pharmacist. And it's cool that I can go back full circle into the medical field without even having to, because I know how lucrative private pharmacies are. I was like, I can go back full circle into something that from a completely different angle now.
Yeah, that's so cool.
It's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, I think that's just the main takeaway. It's like nothing is ever set in stone. Like what you know now can change, and how you feel now can change. The core you is always going to be you, but like, you're going to encounter things in your life that are going to give you this new perspective, and you're going to have these paradigm shifts, and you're going to have interesting people that are going to make you change, and things that you said 10 years ago that you would never consider. You're like, I would never get a fucking tattoo. And now you're like all tatted up. Like things just evolve and they grow, and like, and you just kind of just have to like, just kind of flow with it, like Bruce Lee said, be like water.
Yeah.
I think that's all we can really do as people.
Yeah.
Like when I try to understand who it is that I am, and when I try to problem solve and think of things, I'm just like, all right, well, it can get really overwhelming. Like, is this the right thing? Oh my God. And then you can get stressed, but then you just kind of have to take a deep breath in and just go, fuck it. Let's do it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
It's hard, but like, I think that's like really fulfilling, at least for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. On that note, y'all, we've come to an end of our podcast. And I'm glad you don't regret anything anymore. I think you've done it the right way.
I regret a lot of stuff.
Oh shit, my bad.
I mean, I don't regret it in a way where I would want to change things.
Yeah.
But kind of like the MMA example I was talking about, there's a lot of things I wish I would have done better.
Yeah.
And I like thinking about these things because I think every father's duty is to try to give the life advice that they have.
Yeah.
And give it to their kids and then see what their kids do with it.
Yeah. I guess I just don't like calling it regret because I feel like it's something that you dwell on. So I have lessons that I want to teach Taika, and I have feelings that I carry that I'm like, ooh, I remember what that felt like. I don't want you to feel that. So let me tell you my experience, but I'm never going to say this is something I regret, because regret for me, that word, maybe I don't even know the definition correctly, but the word regret carries so much weight for me that it's very depressing. Yeah, maybe it's not like that for you.
It's not depressing, but I definitely dwell on it.
Oh, yeah, I don't dwell on shit.
I think that's why I've been wanting to take so many like tactical classes.
Yeah.
Just because I'm like, man, I could have been this type of Marine and I didn't.
Yeah.
So what can I do now? And I like it because it kind of fuels me. So I'm like, oh, I want to take like
cool.
tactical trauma classes, or
Cool, you made it work for you.
Yeah.
I can't do shit like that because I'll just get sad, and I'm like, what the fuck is the point of me thinking like this?
Yeah.
And I'll be like, I don't want to feel this. So then I'll try to do something to fix it or just not feel that shit anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, this was CUNY.
Yeah. So that was the episode of things I would have done different in college. We still have Mom Bear's like our home buying process topic. Any other topics that you think we should talk about, let us know in the comments below. It could be in any stage of life. It could be any perspective, from a happy perspective, from a sad perspective, anything. We really want to just talk to you guys, get to know you guys, and see what you guys are interested in. And shout outs to Skillshare and ShipStation for sponsoring this podcast, as well as our very own brand, Barbell Brigade. We have a gym in LA and also a clothing brand online, barbellbrigade.com. Go check that out, and I'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
Peace.